you're watching Your Music, My World.
You recently dropped album Crying Almost More.
Yes.
So are those the official lead singles to the album, or are they just to hold over your fans until you're ready to start the album cycle?
I'm just going to keep putting music out to keep people happy, to just remind people that I'm still here, I'm still working, I'm still creating. To me, that's the most important thing. I'm going to put an EP out here within the next couple months. I'm doing a maxi single for Almost More, which came out here actually and found a bunch of producers to work with to remix the record. So we're going to do a whole EP for that. I'm just going to keep making music.
So constantly making the fans happy, constantly pleasing them.
Absolutely.
Well, my next question is, it's been almost a year since your last year.
Yes.
And since then, it's been revealed you're no longer with Rock Nation.
Yes.
So what people want to know is do you think about wanting to talk to other labels?
I'm completely independent. I just am so happy to do my own thing. It's such a different vibe. It's people are more interested to hear what you have to say. I'm not a part of something else that's bigger than me. It's just me, you know. And there's a pride and a confidence I think that's come with that in writing, you know, the new project and being able to work with all these other people that I maybe wouldn't have ever worked with before, you know, were it not for me being completely independent of a label. I think it's a really beautiful thing. And I'm finding more people like it too. More people are excited about what's to come, and you know.
Yeah. I think you're actually a lot more active, like on social media than you were when you were with the label. So I've noticed and you're doing the video series of Wrap Up. So I've noticed that. But I'm just looking forward to seeing rappers in the future.
Yes.
So this album.
Yes, this album.
So let's tell something about the producers, your feature artists, anything about the sound, the sonics, anything you performance about?
Initially when I started, I really wanted to make a project that was going to be really fluid from beginning to end. So like one track starts and then it goes into another. So the way I Won't Cry goes into Almost More, I really wanted to have every single track on the album sound that way. But because we're making such an abundance of music, it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll do that for the EP, and then the album will, you know, if it follows that format, then cool. You know what? Honestly, I'm taking everything one day at a time. I think this is the first time in my life where I feel like I'm completely confident in everything that I'm putting out. Completely confident in everything that I'm saying and everything that I think, and I feel like this is the most receptive that my fans have been to my performances and just to my overall energy. I think I'm much more connected to everybody now than I ever was.
Now moving further on the album, see on the first mixtape I noticed that songs like White Lies, Seek and Destroy, and Rock Tour, they had like a strong rock influence. And we haven't really heard you on songs like that since then, so will that resurface in the album?
It's coming back. It's definitely coming back. This album is going to absolutely be more alternative than it was before. It's still soulful. I'm still a soulful singer at heart. I'm still inspired by R&B voices, but it's definitely going to be a little edgier than it was before. But I don't think it's going to be as dark. I think there's going to be some topics that I talk about that'll be a little dark, but overall it's not going to be totally focused on love relationships. It's really going to be about just my coming of age, so to speak. I think I've gone through a lot, being part of Rock Nation and then not being a part of Rock Nation, and all the personal things I've gone through, and just trying to find my place in this world outside of the label. You know, I think it's hard when you're an artist. You fight and fight and fight. It's like being in high school. Being an artist and being signed to labels like high school. You want to be the most popular kid in school. You want everyone to love you. You want everyone to think you're great. You want to be the most fashionable. You want to be the skinniest. You want to be the prettiest. And I think I've thrown all of those ideals out of the window just for the sake of having peace of mind and really being happy.
I was going to say, I'm happy you said all that because White Lines is still my favorite song that you've ever done. So I'm actually happy that I'm going to hear more songs like that in the album.
Yes.
Now, my next question is an industry question.
Okay.
So, do you think it's difficult to break new R&B artists in this industry with the current climate? Because R&B is also this trendy and crossover, and now Billboard is kind of really artificial with chart machine sales, and they don't really reflect consumer interests and radio either.
I think R&B is actually at the forefront of mainstream music, but what I will say is it doesn't have as much color as it did before. I think R&B has always been mainstream, but I think nowadays it's the Justin Timberlakes and the Robin Thicke's and the Sam Smiths and the Adeles that are really making soul music the tier to reach. So I will say that I think R&B has always been kind of at the front with the sort of the front lines, but I do think that nowadays it's a lot less about, you know, there's no Mary, there's no new Mary J. Blige, you know what I mean? There's no new generation of women that are coming to the forefront either. No new Luther. You know what I mean? It's very. I think Tank is the only one that's still really making classic soulful R&B music that is really incredible. And I think aside from that, and Chris Brown, even then, Chris Brown is still always walks the line of R&B and pop. I think,
yeah, exactly.
I think there's very few women that are at the forefront, and I think it's that's because there's no real middle ground for any of us to live. It's either you're independent and you're trying to make it on Instagram and YouTube, or you're Beyonce. There's not a lot of room to breathe and live in between.
And the ones who do seem to kind of make it impact, they don't really seem to hold it for a long time, like 7th Street, or like she had a huge hit early this year, but unfortunately, even though she's really talented, her EP hasn't really held as much traction since it came out last year. And Tinashe now he's blowing up, but we'll see when he's in 9 years' time. I'm a fan of her. But
I am too. Well, Tinashe is an artist that's really, she's young, so she's got so much room to grow, and she's been recording and making music for a long time, and people outside of the industry don't know how far she's come from when she started, but I think, over the next couple of years, she'll definitely make the impact she wants. Steven's in the studio working on her album, so I'm sure, I'm all about female empowerment. I'm always about trying to make sure that the next woman is still representing herself and representing the rest of us in a really cool kind of way, and, Steven's one of those women that I've met that is really about the same kind of things that I'm about. Her, Elvarner, Melanie Fiona, there's a lot of women. K. Michelle. I think there's a lot of women that are making really good music that, we all for the most part, support each other.
Now, the last question is, now since you really did Street Dreaming, we haven't really seen any visuals for you aside from a preview for Cocaine Heartbreak.
The Cocaine Heartbreak video is going to blow your minds, just so you know.
So
you might see a cameo from someone that you know, and it's going to be great.
So we can expect more visual in the coming.
Absolutely. There's a visual coming for Almost More and for Cocaine Heartbreak. Yeah.
Now, so is there anything you want to say to your fans?
Just thank you guys so much for thugging it out with me. I know it's been a really long journey, and thank you for being so patient and so understanding and so responsive and receptive to everything that I've put out thus far. And just, keep supporting. I'm one of the people. At the end of the day, I really pride myself in the idea that I don't see myself as being this untouchable, unfazed artist. I'm still a regular person. I'm still a fan. I started out as a fan of music before I was an artist, so I still want to be able to relate to my fans, and it's really all about them. If they love the music, then it means I'm doing something right.
And you say.
Thank you.